Beyond The Yard. I am your host, Derrick Destroyer. And hopefully everybody enjoys that BTW season. Like, we are doing so good. We got to see Derrick Destroyer. I got to be in BTW. Like, that's so cool. I got to have some great matches. Hopefully you guys, depends when I'm uploading this. Hopefully everybody enjoys the recent episode of BTW. And also don't forget to check out ACW in your yard, because we're also going to have some exclusive matches and content that we filmed in BTW territory. Now we have a guest from BTW. You may have heard of him, but I'll give you a recap of who he is. This man is the top star general manager of BTW. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, my friend, RTG.
Hey, what's up?
How are we doing, RTG?
Oh, we're doing great. A little under the weather here, got a little sick with the taping and stuff, but I'm good. And it's about time you put the best wrestler in BTW on this.
Ain't that right?
I know you had RJS and BES, but
yeah,
they're just a level below what I am. So,
and let's not forget, we also had an episode with RJS and BES on Beyond the Yard, and also some of the wrestlers from CBW. So don't forget to check out those episodes. But it feels great to have a star like RTG on the show. Like I thought this would have never happened, And I thought RJS was the mega star of BTW.
Well, unfortunately, too many people believe that, and that's because of the poor booking I get on the channel. We used to be like way up, and then ever since the booking changed, that's when I was doing the booking, a lot of the booking. Then it changed and RJS took it over, and the channel's gone down. We went from 4,500 subscribers with me to 1,500 or so with RJS. So that just goes to show you what's going on there with the booking.
That's good to hear. If you're hearing like car movements or in the background, that's because Derrick Destroyer is going to the airport, because he's going back to ACW territory, because we just finished the BTW taping. And I just want to say I had a great time in BTW. I won't give it away. I won't wait. You guys just gotta wait until all the episodes are uploaded, because I could guarantee you the moments that I was in it, and also the moments that RTG was in it, those were like the highlights of BTW crossover.
Yeah, and the lowlights were any match with CBW, but guys in it.
I think a lot of people stopped watching BTW when Jacob Wayne was in it.
Jacob, I want to be Ezekiel Wayne. Jacob, I want to be Batman Wayne. Insert whatever there I want to be, because that's what he is.
Yep.
He doesn't know what he is. And William Carnival Barker. And then we got Marshall Woody Paul. Where did he pull his string, right? Los Diego pointed out in one of the matches he had a string hanging out of his ass. Pull it and he gives you your, there's a snake in my boot.
And if you don't watch out, he'll put a boot up someone's ass.
Yeah, they're kind of a little on the weird side, I'd say. Talking about stuff that just don't fly in my book, like a transgender porn channel.
Yeah. I don't know what the CBW guys were thinking. Like, they wanted to, like, go in a different direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they're from California, so what do you expect?
That's true. And I'm from Kansas, and I had to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm more based in Oregon, so I guess Oregon's not my area, but further up where I'm taking you, Portland is turning into California up here.
Oh, really? It's turning into California.
All the Democrats are moving up. This is a Democratic stronghold up here. So the area we live in is more Republican, conservative area. So, you know, unfortunately, the bad part of living in Oregon is that all the Democrats are concentrated in the big urban cities. We're in a rural area. So whatever they want pretty much goes for the state. So that sucks. And anybody that follows politics or anything like that knows California is the same way. So we're becoming like California here.
I get you, RTG. I feel like politics should, not take it out on each other with words, but like just get in the backyard and just dealing your problems right there. That's what they should be doing.
That's what they should be doing, but you'll see politics even in your feds, right? My fed. I should be the headlining star. But no, because of politics. Oh, you're so old. You're over the hill. Well, put me in there and let me show you what I can do. Don't put me in these jobber matches.
Like, come on. I believe, like, RTG deserves the main event at one point.
I mean, all you gotta do is look at our first episode, the 4-man battle royal. They all attacked me and got me out first because they knew I was the biggest and the baddest guy on the trampoline, and if they didn't take me out, that I would have won it. So all three of them jumped me to get me out in the beginning. It's clear as day.
That's outrageous because they knew if it was just a one-on-one, RTG would have probably won that match.
Right? I would have destroyed them, chokeslammed them to hell, splashed them, rolled them out of the ring. But no, it was 3-on-1. They didn't even want to go on me 1-on-1. That just goes to show they know who the best competitor, who the strongest competitor, and who was the guy to get out first. RTG, baby.
RTG. And let's not forget, you also had a chance to win the Rumble and have a chance to main event Mania.
I did, and again, they went after me. You know, multiple people attacking me because they knew I was the biggest threat. And, so they got me out. And then I had that little pipsqueak, BES, jumping on my back, save him. And he gets to stay in the Rumble because I stumbled over to the trampoline and he was able to get back on the trampoline without his feet hitting the ground. After I smashed his little butt up against the balcony there.
He was probably like a cockroach. Like, no matter how much times you stomp on him, he'll still be moving around. Maybe just, double check next time.
Right? I should have just, backed up into it a couple more times and dropped his ass.
That would have been something. And the thing that I really liked about that Rumble, not only was my BTW debut, I also got to have a moment. I got to share the yard with RTG.
Right? I think every backyard wrestler looks forward to that. So if you guys want to do a crossover and be with the best, come on out or, invite us. And if we can make it, we'll come out to you guys.
The challenge has been thrown. Now the real question is, are you ready? Are you ready for RTG?
Well, who wasn't ready? It was when we went down to California for the CBW crossover. I went in there, 6-man tag, and came out victorious. I'm the only undefeated wrestler ever in CBW wrestling history. Yeah, it was all part of my plan to make them feel like they could win it by taking me out first.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Did you also say that you were undefeated?
That's right. I'm 1-0 in CBW. And that's 100%, baby.
I don't think Jacob Wayne would like that. I don't think he likes that at all, does he?
No, I think that digs at Jacob Wayne. Probably digs at everybody knowing that I go into a company and I leave undefeated,
Like, that's a great record. Like, imagine being undefeated in a different federation. Like, you got to defeat other wrestlers' asses and be 100% undefeated. Like, that's like an amazing record.
It's an amazing feeling knowing that there's no number over in that L column. There's a 0. And over in the W column, hey, there's a 1. But who knows? There could be a 2 some other time. But probably not. They're not worth my, it's not worth it for me to go over back to their company and, try and get them over or something like that. They need to be getting me over.
That's for sure. Ain't that right? Imagine RTG being in the Hall of Fame for being known as the undefeated man in CBW.
And maybe you don't know, maybe you do know. I'm the only wrestler in the BTW Hall of Fame.
Ain't that right? Ain't that right, ladies and gentlemen? How do you feel about, the stars, the crossovering that we're having in BTW?
Well, I feel like the CBW guys just bring it down a little bit, William Barker, he can put on a match. Woody, you pull that string and he goes running all over the place and talking and spouting off stuff. And then I don't know what to say about Batman. Or is it Ezekiel? Or is it I want to be a cowboy? Is it I want to be a Batman? Is it I want to be whatever, a transgender porn star? I don't know. But I don't think he knows what he wants to be. Jacob, I want to be whatever Wayne. And then, even my own guys, BES, calls himself the coolest in the yard. He's the skinniest in the yard. Damn ribs showing everywhere. Looks like Skeletor in the ring. You got RJS, likes to call himself Glorious or the Wrestling God. But all he is a wannabe Paul London. Doesn't even have half the talent I have in my pinky finger. But, because he's the owner, he thinks he knows what's best. I know what's best for the business. I'm the one that puts BTW on the map. And, Beast, he's the least. I mean, he lost to Jack Delta in our crossover with MEBW a couple of years ago.
Ain't that right?
And, that's why he's no longer in the Northwest Society.
Wow.
Kicked him to the curb. Can't have losers in there.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
That's right. And then, the one wrestler in the company that doesn't get the credit he's due is Blackout.
Okay.
He always seems to get these guys that come in and pay off the ref for a quick count, or somebody will come in and interfere and cost him the championship. Nobody can beat him clean. So kind of getting tired of that, too. He's my protege, and eventually he will be a champion.
Well, that's good to hear. Got a question, RTG, if it's fine asking. What got you into wrestling, if that's fine asking?
Well, I started wrestling or watching wrestling when I was probably about 13 years old. WWE. Well, at the time it was WWF. Hulk Hogan, Golden Age. It was right before WrestleMania started, a couple of years before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, me and my friends watching it, tuning in. You had Saturday night's main event. Had to stay up late for that, but, they wouldn't show it earlier. But whatever. And then as far as backyard wrestling goes, it's something on a serious note that I wasn't really into or whatever, but my sons were really into it. BES and RJS. They started this channel, and so at first I was just like, hey, RTG, come video tape the matches for us. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then as it gone on, I got more involved. They wanted me, okay, do matches. And then you had, so the early going, our channel was going great. I mean, we were doing them, seemed like a match a day or multiple matches a day and putting them out there.
Okay.
And just getting us out there. And then you had people on there that didn't, like the fact that I was back there wrestling with my kids. And, I've even had people call me like a abuser or whatever for, even though we weren't doing anything that jerk off. I wasn't doing anything that was harmful to them or anything like that. It's fake, so it's not like if I'm attacking them that I'm trying to hurt them or anything like that. And
maybe they just didn't understand how backyard wrestling works. Like,
yeah, and then so they got me more involved to where I began wrestling. I was like one of the wrestlers' bodyguards, and eventually moved into being the GM and doing some of the early booking and stuff. And then there was days I really enjoyed it, and there was days, because we were doing it every day, I would get home from work and RJS come up to me and like, let's go do it. I'm like, dude, let me like rest for a minute. I've been working all day. Right. Let me lay down. Let me sit down. Let me grab a soda, or let me, do something. No, we got to get out there. So, there were those days I'd be, not wanting to do it, but I'd get out there and do it. And after we would do it, it was like, okay, this is fun. I don't know why I didn't want to do it, but and I still have those days with RJS. But
not to interrupt, but some of us work. They gotta understand our work life,
right? And now it's not as bad as far as that goes, because we've evolved, and we're not doing matches every day. So
like you could say, like, you guys are like scheduling when and the time and on the day and all that.
Yeah. So, and then like all companies probably do, even WWE, you tape everything ahead of time and you put it out as your season goes along. So our season, I believe, is running from June to November, or May to November, because it just started last week. Or at the end of May it started.
Well, that's good to hear. We got to learn how RTG, how he got into wrestling, especially with backyard wrestling, and how it was, behind the scenes, because not a lot of people knows what goes on behind the scenes in BTW, and especially what RTG does in backstage. But what would you say were some of the greatest moments you had in BTW?
Probably the first one would be when I won the heavyweight championship the first time. It was a one-time pay-per-view we did called Locked In, and that's when we first started. We had the net up on the trampoline, so it was kind of like a cage, and it was a triple threat elimination match, and me and BES took out Swift first, and BES was the champion at the time, and I speared him out of the air. He's going for his phenomenal forearm, and I speared him out of the air and took home my first heavyweight championship. Other good ones.
How did it feel when you won the title?
Oh, it felt great knowing that I was the best in BTW. I mean, I knew I was the best before that, but now that cemented the fact that I was the best, because I was the champion. And I took out our little pipsqueak, who was half the size he was then as he is now.
I see. Well, that's good to hear, and hopefully in this season we get to see more RTG, because I feel like that's what everybody wants to see. They want to see RTG. I don't think they want to see RJS, which a lot of people, get it confused. Well, people think, oh, what does RJS stand for? They probably, like, RJS thinks to himself that it stands for Ryan's Just Sexy.
Right.
But in some opinions, people think that it stands for Ryan Just Sucks. But it could go either way, Oh,
I tend more to Ryan's Just Stupid. But
that works too.
But for the way he books me, obviously. But, through BTW, I've, gone through transformation. I came out first as RTG, Ryan the Giant, which made sense at the time because I was the biggest guy, not only height, but, obviously you guys see me and I'm
built
kind of wide.
Yeah, okay.
I'm built too, but kind of wide.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, I'm not one doesn't cut on himself. So, so I went from Ryan the Giant. You could, in the early channel, if you guys seen it and remember, the RJS and BS and everybody would call me the dinosaur because I'd come out to that roar, kind of like a Braun Strowman kind of thing,
Okay.
And then when we moved into the new house, that was at our old house, and when we moved into the new house, RJS and his older brother thought it would be funny if I came out as a rapper.
Oh, so you had a rapping gimmick at one point?
So then I became Ryan the G,
okay.
Like a gangster G, OG, and I would do some rapping.
Okay.
Have my hat on sideways and come out and do some rap, do a freestyle before every match, and that's kind of gone away. Kind of gone back to the more to the Ryan the Giant dinosaur guy now, and obviously the best talker on the channel, and I run circles around BS and RJS as far as talking goes. They've gotten better, but they're not on my skill level at anything, really. Wrestling or talking.
I see. Has anybody ever called you RTG, Ryan the Goat, or something like that? Like any good?
I don't want to go into that, but I will. No, I'm not Ryan the Goat, but I am Ryan the Greatest in my mind.
That's
and
good.
Probably in a lot of your minds. If not, I should be. No, what I get from my long-haired, girly-looking boys is Ryan the Gay.
Oh.
But they're just jealous.
They are, by the sound of it. RTG may not have the hair, may not have the athleticism, but he is, as a matter of fact, RTG, Ryan the Greatest.
Yes, I am. And if you want to see how great I am, just tune in to BTW and watch.
If you want to see RTG, don't forget BTW Wrestling. The link will be down in the description. And how does it feel to be on a podcast show? Like, get to, tell stories and all that.
It feels great because now people get to know me more. I know people that watched the channel a few years ago know that I had a health scare, and I don't know if I seem to remember that I went on, talked about a little in one of our episodes or whatever, and, but I don't know if people thought it was just, storyline kayfabe or what, but, there was a time in 2019 to early 2021 when, I had a autoimmune disease going on, and I guess this can be like a public service announcement. Watch your health, guys. my issue stemmed from high cholesterol. So I was put onto a statin, simvastatin. And when they tested me, when I first got with my doctor and they did the blood work and stuff, your baseline blood work, my CK levels, which are like your protein, muscle protein levels, were in the normal range, which is from 0 to 300. I think mine was in the below 100. And but after that, my doctor didn't check those levels. They put me on the simvastatin for my cholesterol. They didn't check my levels. And your body will tell you if something's wrong with you. You just got to listen to it. And I didn't listen to it. Mm-hmm. So what first started noticing something going on was my daughter moved to Texas, and we flew our grandson, you guys know him as Hornswoggle, back to Texas, and she gave us her truck, and we drove back from Texas. Well, I started noticing, like, when I was trying to get up into the truck, that it was hard for me to get up into the truck, like lift my leg up. But I thought to me, in my mind, it was because I was short. The truck was taller. I'm kind of a shorter guy, 5'5" and a half, 5'6", and so I didn't think anything of it. But I'd have to pull kind of hop up and pull myself up. What I didn't realize is that my legs, the muscles in my legs, were starting to deteriorate. So that went on, and then the next thing that came up was I was lifting weights with my kids at school, and I was doing a set of like 125, and before, when I would do it, I had no problem putting up 10, 15 reps, however many I wanted to go. I usually go 10, but sometimes I'd go 15. And I could only get 3 up, and they had to help me get the third one up. The spotters did. And so I'm like, wow. In my mind, I'm like, something's going on, but I thought maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's a bad day,
Okay.
So then, we were out playing volleyball, and I used to be able to do an overhand serve and power serve, and now I couldn't get it over the net. Mm-hmm. I was weak. I could feel I was weak, but still didn't go to the doctor. Should have made a doctor's appointment, should have gone in. We had a snowstorm. We got like 2 feet of snow. It was a freak snowstorm. My doctor cancels my doctor's appointment for that week because she can't get into the office. So when I call, and then we did a wrestling match, I believe it was me against RJS, and we were doing or it might have been BES, I don't remember. It was one of them. But we were out there like throwing snowballs at each other during the match, and I'm trying to throw, but I have no aim with my,
Okay.
I throw instead. My arm's going forward straight, but the snowball is going to the right. Wow. It's like diagonal to where I'm letting go of the ball or the snowball, but it's going. They're laughing at me. Oh, you can't, and so I call the doctor to reschedule my appointment, and I tell them what's going on. They pull me in there. They run blood work, and my CK levels were over 11,000.
Wow.
And, they immediately took me off the statin because they thought that might be something that was the issue. And then I go back in 2 weeks later. They do the blood work again, and it's over 12,000. So now we're like trying to figure out, what do I have? And my doctor can't figure it out. So she comes back to me and she's like, we think you have ALS. Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know what ALS is, it's the disease that killed Lou Gehrig. There's no cure for it. Your body deteriorates and you die. And so, boom, now this is really serious. If it's ALS, I've only got, maybe 3-5 years, maybe a little longer than that to live. And so finally get in with the specialist up in Portland, OHSU, and calls me up on the phone. He's like, can you come up? We've been waiting months. So this was like February, March. When I find this out, they send a referral up there. My wife is calling every month. Finally, in July, they call me. And the doctor's like, yeah, I need you to come up tomorrow. And get up there and, So anyways, it wasn't ALS. That's the good news. I ended up having a thing called autoimmune necrotizing myopathy. And what that is I had an allergic reaction to the statin, and it was killing my muscles.
Wow.
So I got really, really weak. I had to go take chemo for 2 years. I had to do infusions for 9 months. But good news is I'm cured right now, and I'm back wrestling again, feeling back to strength. So for a while there, that's why I wasn't wrestling, is because I just wasn't strong enough or healthy enough to wrestle.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. I never knew, you had to deal with stuff like that, and I like to hear, how, you got to overcome that, you were suffering and what you had to go through, and, you're doing better how you were before. That's really good.
Yeah, and just, if you guys do have high cholesterol and they do put you on a statin, just make sure you have your doctors check your blood work for that CK level. And if it starts to go up, make sure they take you off of it and put you on something else. I mean, right now I'm not on anything. I'm just trying to control it with diet and stuff. So, and it wasn't as high as it was, so that's good. But that's something I'll have to cross if it comes, a bridge I'll have to cross if it comes to that later on.
Well, that's good to hear, and I just want to say that I'm really enjoying this ride along because, the first time with RTG and BES podcast episode, that was the first time I ever did a, face on camera in person. That was the first time ever. Then in CBW, their episode, that was the first time I ever did, my podcast episode outside, and now I'm having a podcast episode in a car, going from checkpoint A to checkpoint B. That's pretty, nice.
Well, and now I guess I feel like I'm kind of, what's the word?
What do you think?
Making history, but, feeling like I'm not as great as you make me seem that I am. Because RJS and BES got FaceTime with you.
Okay.
You just said that they were, obviously I'm driving, so you probably can't have a camera going. Well, okay. You could have a camera going.
Right.
But, and then you go outside with the CBW guys, and you probably had them on camera, too.
Oh, we just had the mics.
Okay, so at least I'm not, put down below those guys.
Yes.
All right, I'm feeling a little better.
And in case, for future reference, if we, decides to do another crossover, or just a reunion, or, something like that, just to get us together again, we decide to go somewhere, like the beach, or, back to the house from the airport, we could do another, ride along podcast episode.
Well, I think what would be nice, and I don't know if this would work with everybody or whatever, is if we could do this some other time, but you guys could stay longer, everybody could stay longer. Maybe we go camping A few years ago, we did that in BTW.
Oh, I see.
Where we went, and there was 6 of us, I think. And we went camping, just had a fun time. You guys probably seen RJS posted the hide and seek that we did. And
okay.
Another time we went camping, and I guess this will be a shout out to Biggle, but we shot a movie for him. I don't know whatever happened to that or whatever.
Okay.
But me, RJS, BES, and wrestler at the time, Big Jaw, all shot the video. That was interesting because we're trying to shoot the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the campers down below us were like acting like we're scared. You know, it's kind of like a horror movie. And acting like we're scared, and then we have them yelling at us like, "Oh, it's just a deer," you know,
right.
Or something like that. When it was, you know, it was our character in the woods trying to kill us or whatever, you know.
Okay.
And we had the people down there, and we're having to yell at, "Oh, we're shooting a movie! Be quiet!"
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty fun.
Was that the same camp? Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys went to like a lake, then like people were like jumping onto the lake from like a cliff or whatnot.
The hide and seek one was. The movie one wasn't. That was a different like lake that we went to.
Okay.
That one was Loon Lake. The one where we went as a company, not everybody in the company, but multiple people.
Okay.
That was a more river.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Laverne Park, and the other one was called Loon Lake. But Loon Lake is kind of pricey, so we probably won't go back there. And the kids really didn't have a whole lot of fun because there wasn't like a designated swimming area that they could go to. So,
okay. I see.
Whereas, like at Laverne Park, there's two areas. There's one area where you can jump off the rocks and, you know, do flips and stuff into the water. And then there's another area that's like a designated swimming area, but it's also got like a rock cement platform that you can swim out to and do stuff off of.
Oh, nice. That's really good. Maybe next time, if you know, we plan out, you know, maybe have like the weekend off after, you know, if we decide to have like taping on the weekdays, maybe on the weekends, you know, we could like go out and just, you know, have like some bro time or something like that.
Definitely. Yeah, if you would have had more time, like, I don't know if the CBW guys want to do it or not. But if we had time today, not too far from where we live is like a safari, kind of. It's called the wildlife safari, actually. And
nice.
you it's drive through like zoo. It's got the animals outside the car. You stay in the car.
Uh-huh.
You drive through different areas. There's lions, there's tigers, cheetahs,
Wow.
bears, you know, rhinoceroses, hippos, elephants, giraffes, you name it. They got animals from all over different regions of the world, and they separate them by their region. So you drive through Africa, you drive through North America, you drive through Asia. So,
wow.
And they got the animals that live in those continents in that area.
That's pretty nice. And you said it was like a drive-through zoo?
Yeah, so you stay in your car and you just drive through the whole thing, looking at the animals and stuff. And when you get into Asia, you get the emus, and they come up to the car, and if you're not careful and you roll the window down, they'll peck you. Freaked out RJS and BES's kids a lot by doing that.
Yeah.
Got a big laugh out of that.
Well, that's good to hear. Like, I'm just glad that, you know, not only, you know, we could do some, you know, taping for BTW or Backyard Wrestling, but we could also, you know, go out and like do some stuff that we could go, like, from what I've heard from RJS or some other guys that were there during the crossover, that, you know, in Roseburg, they were like, you know, we could have gone like bowling or something like that, you know?
Yeah, we have a bowling alley. There's, if you like to skate, there's a skating rink.
Like, I've never been to Oregon, and what are like some nice things to do in Oregon, like especially in your hometown?
Well, in Roseburg, like the wildlife safari, we do a lot of hiking. There's a lot of trails, waterfalls, very beautiful. But I was telling you earlier before we started this,
Okay.
we had a fire a couple of years ago that, you know, damaged some of the area, the trails to some of the waterfalls, which is disappointing. But if you go up, I think it's 138, glide all the way to Diamond Lake and stuff like that. There's a bunch of waterfalls. Oregon has a ton of waterfalls. Plus, really Eugene and some bigger cities, not the biggest, but Eugene and like Medford aren't too far away. Grants Pass, and there's some things you can do there. Eugene has, Oregon Ducks, University of Oregon's there, so if you like football, basketball, you can go check out the Ducks. All that stuff that goes on up there. They have down towards Medford and Grants Pass. They have jet boats. You can go on a jet boat adventure down there. That's pretty fun. The coast is only like an hour and a half away from us, so we're not too far from the coast. The mountains are right there. You just drive 20 miles, you're in the mountains. So, it's kind of centrally located, and it's a really nice place.
I see. Yeah, this is my first time ever being in Oregon, and it's different than Kansas, that's for sure, because Kansas, just plain flat, where the grass grows, weeds, everything, farming. But like right now, I'm looking at like tall trees and like mountains and nice landscape. That's a nice thing about Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's very beautiful, very green. I should say not all of Oregon is like this. If you get into eastern Oregon, it's got some greenery, but you also start to get into as you get close to Idaho and stuff, kind of more of a deserty thing, where not as much green. But overall, Oregon's a very beautiful state.
That's good to hear. Who would you say is your top 5 wrestlers, like pro wrestling wise?
Right now or all time?
Of all time. Like, who do you think was like your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
Alright, well, I grew up with them, so Hulk Hogan, Undertaker,
The Undertaker,
Rock, Stone Cold, I hope I took the right way.
The last one is always the hard one. The hard one.
Yeah. And to me, it's Chris Benoit. I know he did some horrible stuff to his family and stuff, but I don't take that into account as far as what he did in the ring and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna hate on him because he was a horrible person. He was a great wrestler, and what he did outside of, it was horrible, but it doesn't take away from what he did in the ring. But I would also put Angle up there too.
Kurt Angle is a good one.
But I mean, there's so many. Hitman Hart, Bret the Hitman Hart. I even like Macho Man a lot.
Oh wow! Like, just cause you pick these five stars doesn't mean they're your favorites. Cause you also have your favorite list, so they add on differently. But just cause you mentioned your list, I also want to mention my top 5. I would say this is out of order. The Undertaker, he's a really good one because throughout every era, he had a different character persona, and that's one thing that's really nice. Kurt Angle, I liked his Attitude Era. Like, he won a medal with the broken freaking neck. Like, come on, like right. that's a wrestler right there. Then we got CM Punk, the best in the world, one of the greatest, and he started as a backyarder, so that's a pretty nice touch.
Well, I didn't know that.
Oh, really? You didn't?
No.
I know there's some wrestlers that started as backyarding.
I knew that the Hardys did, but
for sure.
And Mick Foley, I think, was too.
I would say The Rock, but I guess Stone Cold beats that position because who doesn't like the Texas Rattlesnake, the man that could kick his boss's ass and not get fired and still get paid for it. Like, that's like every man's dream right there. Kicking your boss's ass and getting paid for it. Like, and drinking on the job. Like,
I'll tell you, that's RJS's and BES's thing, getting to beat up the G or the Giant, whichever one I come out as. You know, that's probably the best feeling for them is to get to beat their dad up.
Right. And then they're getting to feel all good about it, you know?
Yeah, they think it gives them a big head. They think they're good. Right. And then I put them in their place.
Well, that's good to hear. I believe I just announced my 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. But I would also add what's his name? I don't think I mentioned him, but the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. He's a really good wrestler and was good on the mic.
One of the best heels of all time.
That's for sure. And, you know, I don't want to leave this guy out. He was in WCW. I would say Sting. Sting was also a really good one.
Yes. Yeah, I was just mainly going to WWE.
Right. I mean, that's for sure. I would say, I guess, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
He's a good one.
Triple H.
I mean, there's just so many good ones. Eddie Guerrero. There's so many good ones that it kind of like limits you on how much you can put on that list. But
right.
Just because they're on the list doesn't mean, you know, they're better than the other wrestlers. They're just whatever comes on your mind first.
Yeah, and everybody's list is, you know,
similar, different.
Similar, but they're also different in their that person's taste. You know.
Yes.
That person may not like heavyweight people, or people that just, you know, do heavyweight moves, or, you know, or may not like Hogan because he didn't have a great set of moves. You know, it was basically punch you, throw you in the slam, and then the leg drop. You know.
But I heard that he had like some matches in New Japan, and like you get to see like Hulk Hogan doing like insecurities and stuff like that. And like that's pretty crazy because like, you know, like the American fans, like, you know, they never saw anything like that compared to, you know, the Japan wrestling fans, because, you know, over there they do, you know, a lot of different compared to the Americans, which is, you know, pretty unique, and like that's really good. Like New Japan Pro Wrestling, like I like how the wrestling is like different than, you know, the American pro wrestling. That's a pretty nice touch. And
then, you know, you have the people that like the high flyers, you know, so maybe their list is Rey Mysterio, you know, Jeff Hardy, you know, Brian Pillman, you know,
that's for
people like that. But everybody's list is going to be different, and you may have one or two wrestlers that are on mine and your list everybody has on their list, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it depends on how you take each wrestler and what they did. You know, if you account for everything they did, or
like how
just like
that wrestler impacted you.
Yeah, you know, their gimmick and stuff. Like the Undertaker, he was never out of gimmick. You know, even when he was in an airport or a restaurant, he was the Undertaker.
Right. And like the Undertaker's like, you know, the wrestler that would like, you know, give you fear about, you know, like nightmares about. Like the thought of the Undertaker risen up from the dead, you know, like nobody could stop the Undertaker, not even his, you know, dead brother Kane.
Well, there's one person that could stop him, but he would never want to come face that guy, and that's me, the Giant.
Oh my God, the challenge has been laid. What a dream match. Imagine the Undertaker versus RTG. Now that would be a phenomenal match.
Yes, it would.
Only if RJS could book it.
Right? We'll see how good of a booker he is.
Let's see how it goes. And I believe we're almost at the airport, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we're probably about 7 minutes away, it says. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say I really enjoyed this episode. Like, I got to meet, you know, RTG, you know, one of the guys from BTW. Like, not that I never thought I was going to be on my show. Like, a lot of people think that, you know, RJS and BES are going to be on Beyond the Yard, but like RTG, now that's like a good guess because not a lot of people know of him.
Right.
And since we're like pretty much close to the airport, and like just to wrap things up, is there anything you want to say to the backyard community?
crap, yeah. Just, guys, keep supporting the guys out there. They do it all for fun. We do it for fun. We do this to entertain you guys. It's something that we all love. I've grown to love it. I didn't, like I said earlier, I didn't really, want to do it. It was just something to support my sons and their dreams, and now I really enjoy doing it and enjoy meeting new people. Like, it's been a pleasure meeting you. I know I put them down and stuff, but it was, the CBW guys are really good guys too. Just easy to clown on them.
Yeah.
And they like it. And, I even gave you a nickname, Derrick Dipstick, so.
Yeah. I mean, throughout my run, I got a lot of nicknames, and, I involved, and I also, give Jacob Wayne a new nickname.
And, yeah, and even when we went back to MEBW, those guys were great. It's just, everybody's really nice, and they treat everybody like family.
Yeah. That's what I like about backyard wrestling. Like, it brings us together. Like, we may not know each other. We might be strangers at first, but, we started creating a strong bond within each other.
Even the parents that I've met, they support their kids in doing it and stuff. And so shout out to the parents. And, the best thing you can do for anybody is support them in their dreams. And
for sure,
that's what I'm trying to do with RJS and BES. It's all kayfabe, me talking bad about them and stuff. It's all, I would do anything for my son. So,
well, that's really a nice touch right there. I just want to say, RTG, it was an honor to have you on my show. I really like the stories we have told in Backyard Wrestling and Beyond the Yard. Hopefully, in the future, we can have you back on the show again.
All right, I'd enjoy that very much. So, anytime.
Maybe for the future, we could have RTG, RJS, and BES and Derrick Destroyer face to face on Beyond the Yard.
Now that would get your views up. Anything with me in it is going to get your views skyrocketing, buddy.
That's for sure. That would be best for business right there.
That's best for business.
This is Derrick Destroyer. I just had an amazing interview with RTG. This is Derrick Destroyer. Hopefully everybody has an amazing day. And this is Derrick Destroyer signing off.